Hello, welcome to Water Tea Talks. My name is Tokes. Now, our conversation for this week, or perhaps our question for this week, is: do you think that bad company corrupts good behavior? Join us. Let's dive in. So, let me explain the question, girls, so that you understand what I mean by do you think that bad company corrupts good behavior? Well, in simple terms, it means that if you mix with a lot of people who have bad behaviors and you are a good person and you have a good thought process behind you, do you think that it can influence you? That is the question. So for me, and again, as everything else, I would always speak from experience. Now, number one for me is that there is a deception in ourselves when we think that because we have good morals, we cannot be influenced by doing something bad, right? Because I think that that's a deception. We think that we are way too good to do anything bad. And believe me, I learned the hard way growing up. And the idea of this conversation, girls, and I promise I'm going to try my best to make sure that it is succinct, which means that it is quick and you can really get what I'm saying. And so this is what I'm asking you. Do you think that you were strong enough to withstand not to get influenced by bad behavior? That is the question. In my experience, I would say that yes, bad company corrupts good behavior. If you mix with a lot of people that tend to do the wrong things, there is a probability, highly probable, that you will get influenced by the things that they do. So, I mean, let's break this down. When I mean that, what do I mean by bad behavior? Bad behavior could range from, going to the shop and stealing in the shop, stealing a sweet because your friend thinks it's funny. It could range by lying to your parents in regards to just anything and everything. It could also be like watching inappropriate content. Or perhaps your friend has mentioned to you to say, "Oh, Tokes, have you watched this program?" You know to yourself that that program is inappropriate. But guess what? You're putting your iPad anyway to watch what's going on. That is an example of, again, bad behavior corrupting good behavior. There's so many things. We could go on and on. It could lead to, disruption in class. It could even lead to the way that you decide to dress, because you think that your friends dress a certain way. You feel like that is appropriate. So somehow they influence you. So the idea is that, yes, bad behavior can corrupt good behavior. And I don't want you to almost put yourself on that pedestal that, well, I am a good person, I do good things, I cannot be influenced. If we put ourselves, or we mix with the wrong people, or we mix with people who are constantly having bad ideas, believe it, they will rub off on you. So quickly, I want us to discuss what you can do if you find yourself in bad company and you realize that it's impacting your behavior. So number one first is accountability, which is call it out to yourself. The first thing you want to do is call it out to yourself. So you want to say to yourself, okay, I realize that every time my friend and I go to the shop, we tend to steal sweets or gum here and there. So first, you're telling yourself the truth in regards to what it is that you're doing. Number two is that you want to call it out to your group of friends, because sometimes they could get carried away as well. They could be trying to impress you and you could be trying to impress them. And all it takes is just all of you calling it out to say, guys, look at what we're doing. We really don't want to do that. And that could really, just squash it. And that might never happen again. But I also want you to understand in reality that some of these people know what they're doing, and therefore when you mention it to them, they could be like, oh, well, you've been a goody two shoes, we don't really want you in our group anymore. And I think you need to be able to accept that outcome as well. I need to sneeze. Okay, it's gone now. Okay, so that's number two. Number three is that you need to speak to an adult about it. You need to speak to a trusted adult, your parents, your cousins, that can help you and direct you to exactly what it is that you're doing that is creating, that is bad character and you want to change it. Number four is that you can change. It doesn't matter how deep you are in the bad behavior, we can all change. And it starts really by first being accountable, which is the things that we've spoken about. But also, I want you to not just be naive enough to say, because I'm accountable in regards to what I'm doing, I'm going to stop. That doesn't work that way. Bad behavior kind of is bad behavior is more, I don't want to say it's more embedded with humans, like we enjoy to do things that are bad. I don't know why, but it just seems so, there's so much thrill when it comes to doing something that we shouldn't be doing. So I think that the first thing for you, as part of everything else that we've discussed, is that you need to create a safe plan for yourself so that you don't fall into the same trap all the time. If you think that your friends, every time you go to the shop with your friends, you end up stealing a sweet or gum, then what you need to do, a safe plan in your head, is that every time they invite you to go to the shop, you decline. That is a safe plan in your head. That is something that you have to say no, no, no all the time. If it's a situation where it's because you're watching inappropriate programs or content, and so when your friends are about to have conversation in regards to things like that, or you've heard and you know that the content of what they're talking about is inappropriate, you need to walk away. There is always a plan that you need to devise, not only in your head, but sometimes you need to write it down in regards to the scenarios that are actually bothering you. That's so that when those scenarios come about, because you've already planned it in your head, it's easy for you to know exactly what you need to do. Don't wait till the scenarios happen for you to then decide, what am I going to do? Because sometimes we are caught unawares, and when we're caught unawares, there's a possibility that we're going to actually indulge in that bad behavior. Like I said today, the video is really going to be short. I hope I have been short, but the idea is that please, please, please do not have the notion that because we are all around good all the time, it means that we're not susceptible to bad behavior. Influence can come from anywhere. It can come from friends. It can come from the things that we actually watch online. You know, they're very subtle and they kind of just influence our behavior. It could be because you watched a program on your YouTube in regards to a young girl being rude to her mum, and you thought it was a thrill, and then the next time your mum's talking to you, you feel like you have to come up with an attitude. All of these bad behaviors are very subtle, and they're not really the best things, because believe me, you know what they say, karma, what goes around comes around. So the idea about life generally is that what we do to other people will come back to us. Even our parents, yes. So the idea is that we want to make sure that what we're giving out there is good, and which means that what we're going to get back is good as well. And also, you know, when you think about it in the long run, it's really not worth it. You know, we just really need to be careful in regards to what groups we're keeping, and making sure that we have that safe plan in our head to be able to deter from any of those kind of things. I really hope that I've been able to share what I was thinking with you girls, and you know, I want you to kind of take count in regards to what is it that you're doing, what is the behavior that you're exhibiting right now that you feel like is not the right behaviors. Is it towards your friends? Is it towards your parents? Is it towards your siblings? You know, it could be a range of so many things, because I want you to understand that our attitude or the behaviors that we exhibit are based on different things. You know, they're based on different influences in our lives, and so you need to take stock and take count to make sure that what is impacting your behavior and the way that you relate to everybody in your life is from a good place, and it's a good thing. So I'll leave it there. Okay, bye.